Welcome to Em.Powercoaching. Discover how to reinvent yourself, find self-empowerment, and live a more positive and fulfilling lifestyle. Em.Powercoaching combines mental and physical fitness to help you connect the dots to unveil a more confident, energized, and empowered version of you. So, if you're ready, let's get into today's episode. Hello, and welcome back to Em.Powercoaching with Emma. First of all, I just want to give you guys a massive shout out. Thank you so much for supporting this podcast, for coming back to listen to it every single week, for sharing it with your friends, leaving the reviews. It means so much to me to know that when I'm sat under this little sofa tent in my living room, sweating my tits off for the next half an hour, that it actually means something and that you guys are getting some really useful information from it as well. So it's been lovely to hear that from you. And I just wanted to say thank you. So we are currently in my favourite month, February. Number one, because it is the month of love. And number two, because it's my birthday, bitches. I've already had it. I've had the birthday. It's been and gone. But do you know what? It's my birthday month. So I'm going to enjoy it and stretch that shit out. The main point, though, is that we are in the month of love. And so I really want to use this to talk all about self-love. Because if you're going to love anyone this month, let it be yourself, okay? I'm not a hater. I'm engaged. I have a lovely partner. I love him very much. But I am definitely someone who believes that you have to be able to love yourself before you can love anyone else. And if you're not someone who really gives themselves much care, gives themselves much respect, then let this be the month to do that. Let this be the month just to put a little bit of extra TLC and extra focus on you. Now, before we get into the show, which is going to be all about self-love and self-care with regards to nourishing your body this week. So last week we spoke about exercise and how we can use that for self-love. This week we're going to be talking about nourishing your body. But before we jump in, I really just want to quickly talk about my really exciting new launch of Embodied by Em.Powercoaching, which is all about bringing out the confidence in you and you representing you, no one else, you. So it's all about your self-confidence and representing you. So what the hell is Embodied? Well, it's made up of 3 areas. So we've got Confident You Beauty, Confident You Fragrance, my favourite part, and Confident You Health. And so we will be talking a little bit about the health because that does include supplements. So that will come into today's show. But very quickly, just to tap into the other 2 areas with the beauty and the fragrance. So the fragrances are all perfume. Okay, so really high-end perfumes. They're all made up from any of your favourite. We've got over 200 different types of fragrance in the actual products, so loads to choose from. Beauty products, again, we've got so much stuff in there. All can be found in my online shop, and there is a link to that in my show notes at the bottom there. Okay. So on top of that, with the launch and with it being Self-Love Month, I have also launched Valentine gift boxes. Now, just because, it's Valentine's, and again on the 14th, you can purchase these boxes throughout the whole of February. So it doesn't just have to be for Valentine's Day. So you can either buy it for yourself, which I definitely recommend. You can purchase one for a loved one, for a friend, a family member, anyone, even if it's just for yourself. These Valentine boxes, they're really cute. They include a rose, some chocolates, some perfume that you can choose from a couple of choices, of scent preferences, and there's also the option to add in some makeup in them as well. Again, I'll leave the link in the show notes. Definitely check it out, even if you just buy one for yourself and just give yourself that loving present this month. Okay, going into today's show, which is all about nourishing your body, and we're going to talk a little bit about how the food that we consume on a daily basis affects our bodies. So this used to be something that I had a real problem with back in the day, which is why, it's really, really up there on my important list of self-care things to do on a daily basis now, is really thinking about the types of foods that I'm eating. So just to give you a little bit of history, about 7 or 8 years ago, I was struggling with an eating disorder called bulimia. Now, for those of you who have ever struggled with an eating disorder, whether it's bulimia or anything else, or if you're currently going through it now, just to warn you that this show, or at least this part of the show, may well cause a trigger. So if you're concerned that that might happen, what I would recommend is just to maybe skip this episode, and come back next week when we're not going to be talking so much about it. However, if you feel like you're in a place where you're okay to hear about me talking about ED, then by all means, just we'll carry on. So, yeah, I went through that time 7 or 8 years ago. Really struggled with it. It was basically, there was a lot of things going on in my life. My parents split, my sister got ill, I was struggling with deadlines in my last year at university, I was diagnosed with moderate depression and anxiety, and there was just a lot of shit going on all in one go. And so, bulimia was kind of like how I dealt with my emotions at that time. So it was basically my way of emotional eating. And for those of you who don't really know what that means, it can be 10 minutes to hours of just having huge binges of food. And so that's how I comforted myself, was by binge eating. And then there was the control aspect of that as well, because I was very concerned about how I looked and my aesthetics. And so to control the damage that I'd done, I would then purge, which in itself is, again, extremely damaging to the body. You're bringing up all the acid from your stomach, it's coming into your throat. Anyway, without going too far into it, I was in a very negative place and had a very, very poor relationship between food and nutrition and my body. Basically, at that point in my life, I was not respecting my body whatsoever. There was zero self-care there, although I thought there was, because, I was going to the gym a lot. In general, I was trying to eat quite healthy, but then I'd have these moments, and it got to a point where I was doing maybe 2-3 a day, 7 days a week. It did get quite intense, and there was zero respect going on there, because when it was happening, I wasn't thinking about what am I doing to my body. I was just doing it, okay? And I was just fueling it with the worst foods and then trying to control it afterwards. And a similar thing can be said for when you're binge eating. So binge eating, that can be where you do a similar kind of thing. Like, you'll sit down and within a short space of time, you'll comfort yourself with lots and lots of different types of foods. Tend to be your typical sort of junk foods like chocolate, crisps, I don't know, pizza, whatever it is that you kind of crave at that point and that works for you for comfort, and you will just binge and binge and binge, and that is how you would comfort yourself. But that's a very, very poor place to be, and it's highly disrespectful, and there is zero self-care going on there. And if you think about it, when you're having these moments, even if it's not quite as extreme as that, so even if it's just you're having a bad day and you're going to go and reach for the crap food, or maybe you just like to eat crap food anyway. When I say crap, I mean not nutritious, or less nutritious, let's say, less nutritious than some other foods, okay? And what I want you to think about is, when you're doing that, is that something that you would feel comfortable with allowing a loved one to do, for example? So, if you had a child, you might have a child, your grandparents or your partner or just someone that you care for, would you feel comfortable with piling in loads and loads of less nutritious foods, chocolates and pies and chips and this kind of stuff, and feeling like you were looking after them and that you were taking care of them by fueling their bodies with these types of foods? Probably not, right? So then why would you do that to yourself? If you're uncomfortable with doing that to someone else, then why would you do that with yourself? It's just a question to maybe think about the next time that you start really thinking about, am I really looking after my body? Am I caring for it in the best way that I can? And do I really love and respect my body? Now, it's not always it's sometimes easier said than done. Usually when you're in the moments of wanting to get the comfort food, you're just going to bloody well do it, aren't you? But just starting to have that mindful, that awareness of it can sometimes change your actions further down the line, and those habits can start to change over time. So it's just something to bear in mind anyway. So when we're looking at types of foods and making sure that we're nourishing our bodies, it might be all fair and well saying, oh, well, I don't eat chocolate and I don't eat crisps and everything's homemade. And that's really, really good. Really good on you. I just want to ask the question, how varied is that diet? Because you can be choosing the more nutritious types of foods, but if you're having the same foods day in and day out and there's no variety there, then actually sometimes that's not seem as quite as healthy as maybe you think it is. I say healthy, quote unquote. Okay. So what I mean here is that the different types of foods that you consume, each of them have different properties, have different vitamins, different minerals. So very much in fitness, when we talk about nutrition, we have a very heavy focus on macronutrients. For those of you who don't know, it's your three majors: protein, fats, and carbohydrates. And they have a huge focus when it comes to things like fitness, fat loss, muscle gain. The area that kind of tends to be overlooked on a regular basis is your micronutrients. So here we're talking about your vitamins and your minerals. And when you tend to get, no, that's not right. Commonly, if you were to get a personal trainer, I've seen this a lot, this is why I can say it, who would put together some dietary recommendations for you, they would tend to have a heavy focus on how much carbs, fats, and protein that you're intaking on a daily basis. But there seems to be a bit of a lack around concentrating on your minerals and your vitamins. But we're going to talk about why it's so important when it comes to nourishing your body optimally for health and self-care, why it's really important to actually come back to the basics and go back to those micronutrients and actually think, maybe I need to be putting a little bit more focus on these. So when we look at your vitamins and minerals, the reason why they're just so amazing, the number one reason really, is that these are your antioxidants, okay? And antioxidants they're essential. You need them. You need them to survive. So basically what antioxidants do, without me going really deep into this and absolutely confuzzling your brains within like the 20 minutes that we've got left, antioxidants neutralize free radicals in your body. Now, free radicals are basically, let's just say that they're not good. They're not good to have in your body. They happen as to every cell. Like, they happen as a natural process. You will see this happen, but having too many free radicals in your body is not a good thing. It's damaging your cells. And what antioxidants do is they help to basically interact with free radicals and they terminate the chain reaction that's created with the free radicals before the vital molecules in your body, like DNA, are damaged. Okay, so what the hell does that mean? So when we're looking at things like that, like the damaging of your DNA and the cells in your body, we're looking at deformation and mutation of the cells, and things like deformation can lead to effects on aging, so they can speed up the aging process, and also degenerative, I can never say that word, diseases, including cancer. So it's really important that we think about this kind of stuff when it comes to our health and looking after our bodies, because it's not just about aesthetics. It's not just about how we look on the outside. It's very much about how we are on the inside. That health is a whole rounded approach. It's the inside as well as the outside. It's not about how slim you are or how big your muscles have got. It's how you are on the inside as well. So it's really important to have that focus at some point with regards to antioxidants and the vitamins that you are taking in, on a daily basis. So when we're talking about your essential antioxidants for survival, these would include vitamin E, vitamin C, beta-carotene and selenium. So all of them have different properties. Vitamin E breaks that chain reaction that I was talking about just a minute ago. So the chain reaction that is caused by the free radicals in your body, just basically going on an absolute crazy force to try and find other molecules and break them down. The vitamin E breaks that chain reaction and it kind of just stops it in its track, okay? Vitamin C prevents the chain reaction from even starting in the first place. So those two are really, really important. Now, vitamin E, this can be found in things like nuts, seeds, beans, veg, fish oil, wheat germ, and sweet potato. Vitamin C, that can be found in citrus fruits, cabbage, spinach, broccoli, kale, tomatoes, melons, kiwis, strawberries. And then we've got the other two. So we've got the beta-carotene, which that can be found in carrots, squash, pumpkin, spinach, broccoli, tomatoes, peach, apricots, melons, sweet potatoes. You're already starting to see a bit of connection to some foods here. And then your selenium, this can be found in tuna, cod, herring, chicken, oysters, mollusks, mushrooms, cottage cheese, cabbage, and liver. So just very briefly touching on that, obviously without going too far into it, because that would just become a whole science chat in itself. Getting your vitamins and minerals is so important. Okay, it's so important that scientists have even been known to say that rather than saying an apple a day to keep the disease away, they've believed that it should be changed to a lot of antioxidants a day, keep free radicals away. Okay, doesn't quite roll off the tongue in the same way, but definitely has the importance there for sure. So really important that when you're looking at nourishing your body, that you're looking at actually how varied is your diet, and do you fully believe that you are actually getting in enough vitamins and minerals through your veggies, through your meats, everything that I've just kind of listed there. Are you getting enough antioxidants on a day-to-day basis to be really protecting your body and from preventing it from diseases, aging, and all these kind of things that you can have some form of a control over? Now, again, without going too far into it, you do obviously, you do end up inheriting some of these things in your DNA with regards to like high risk of diseases, but it's also your environment that plays a huge role in that as well. So really important that you have a good look at your nutrition and you think about the variety of the foods that you're having, and is there something, or is there any changes that you could make to possibly change that, to maybe make sure that you are getting enough in there. Now, I listed off a few things there, didn't I, about the types of foods where you will find those main vitamins in. And it's all fair and well me giving you those foods, but I do also understand that you either might not like a lot of those foods, like you just cannot stand eating them, or you struggle with having variety in your diet anyway, for whatever reason. So it could be that you're always running around busy, you don't have time to really think about your nutrition that much, and so your main focus is to either ensure that you're not eating too many calories, or that you're eating in just enough of a deficit, depending on what your goal is, whether you're cutting or whether you're bulking, whatever that is. And so that might just be the only focus that you feel like you can have. It might be that you have children and, just for ease of not cooking for the world, you just generally end up eating what they eat. And that might not necessarily be as much fruit and veg as you wish. Because let's face it, when we're young, the amount of vegetables that we used to eat, very minimum, right? It's all about the fish finger sandwiches. You might not have that problem, in which case it's fine. But you may also be someone who just out of ease, you will eat less fruit and veg just because when you're making for the family, making for the table, that's just what the majority of the party prefer. Whatever reason it might be a struggle to be able to really focus on it. Or you might just be sitting there thinking, oh my God, how am I going to make sure that I am getting this from this and that from that and that vitamin from there and this mineral from there, without absolutely losing my mind over putting too much focus on my food and nutrition, and just thinking that it's just too much of a head blag. Now, I get that. I completely get that. And in that point, you've got some options. You can either go to someone who can put together a plan for you and then you literally just follow it along. It's all done for you type jobby. Or you can have a little think about maybe going into some supplements and vitamins as well. Really important here when we're talking about vitamins and minerals. Sorry, I actually just dropped the phone then, so I do apologise if you heard a lot of rumbling around. With regards to your vitamins and minerals and getting them through supplements, a supplement should never be a food replacement. That's not what it is. It doesn't replace food. So I will say that if you are thinking about increasing your daily mineral and vitamin intake, that you really have a go at trying to get this through food first, through solid food first, okay? However, if you've already tried this, you're really struggling with it, then perhaps supplements, can be your go-to and can be something that could be beneficial for you just to have to support your intake and make sure that you are getting enough of the vitamins and minerals. So, as mentioned before, with my new Embodied launch, I do have health supplements included in there. So that's part of the Confident Health, and it's all by it's called NutriCode, and there's so many different types of supplements in there. It would probably take me a full podcast just to list them off. But you've got your typical kind of things like hair and nails, detox, skin. You've got them vitamins for her, vitamins for him. There's so many different types within the NutriCode supplements, and so you can find the one that's really going to be most beneficial for you. And go for that one. It might be that you choose a couple of different types of boxes of vitamins, or it might just be that you just need the one that you feel like that's where your body's probably lacking a little bit in nourishment. So definitely go and check that out. That, again, I will leave a link to the specific NutriCode section on my online shop, so you can just click on it and it'll take you straight to NutriCode, and have a really good look through all of the different types of vitamins on there, because honestly there's just so much to choose from. And like I say, if you've already had a go at trying to increase your vitamin and mineral intake through your food and you're just struggling, because it's just not something that you can really put much of a focus on right now, then this is where supplements can come in handy and be beneficial for you. So definitely check that out if that's something that you're struggling with already. So that's all that we've got time for today, talking about how to nourish your body. Again, just before I go, please do check out the Embodied by Em.Powercoaching, which includes the Confident You Beauty, Confident You Fragrance, my favourite, and the Confident You Health. And again, there is a link to the online shop with all of that in the show notes. Don't forget, with it being the month of love, you can purchase your Valentine's box. Again, the link is in the show notes. In the Valentine's box, you will get a choice of perfumes. So there's about 3 different perfumes that you can choose from, depending on the fragrant notes that you prefer. So whether that's kind of like a woody musky one, or whether it's a fruity vibrant one, or a citrus, there's a couple of different ones to choose from. You'll see it all there. It will also include a cute little rose, some chocolates, a love note, and you'll also get the option to add in some makeup there, to add in a lipstick in there as well. So there's a couple of different price ranges to choose from. So this is available throughout the whole of February. It doesn't just have to be for Valentine's. However, you can also purchase for Valentine's. So on the shop, to where you can get it from, there'll be information about when you can put in your last orders to make sure that you actually get it in time, with delivery. But you can just buy it for yourself. All about that, definitely. A treat, a Valentine treat to yourself. You can buy it for a loved one, a family member, a best friend. You can send it to anyone. If you put the order through and you give me the address, if it's not your own, you want me to post it to someone else, I can do that. I can send the box with no note whatsoever. With no name on it, sorry, so that they don't know who the sender is from. If you want to go down that sneaky route, whatever you want to do, the option is there for you. So again, the Valentine boxes, if you want them in time for Valentine's, then you need to get your orders in. The date is on the section on the site where you can find that information out, or you can just purchase it for yourself throughout the whole of February. Totally up to you. So I'm going to leave that there. Thank you again so much for sitting with me for this 30 minutes of sweating underneath the duvet in my living room. It really does mean a lot to me that you are here, showing up every week, tuning in, gaining some useful information and being able to go away with it, and take something from the shows. Thank you to everyone who has been leaving reviews. It means a lot, especially when you leave the 5 stars. It helps me go further in the podcast ranks. More people will see the podcast, which means I can reach out to more people and connect with more people. And also, if you've just resonated with any of the podcast episodes, if any of them have connected with you, if you've gained some really valuable information, let me know. I'd love to speak and hear from my listeners. You can either do that by writing in the review notes, or you can come over to my Instagram page, which is Em.Powercoaching UK, and come and have a chat over there. And again, if you feel like there's anyone who would really benefit from listening to any of these episodes, please do share. You can do that just by sending someone the link, or you can take a screenshot and share it on your stories on Instagram. Anything like that, honestly, it supports me and it goes such a long way, and I'm forever grateful for you for doing that. And thank you to those who've done that already. So I'll wrap it up there. It's been a quick 30 minutes there, but my main key message here is that it's all about self-love this month. okay? And how can you love, care, and respect yourself? Not anyone else, just you. And a lot of that comes down to how you make the choices that you make on a daily basis and how you look after your body, not just on the outside, not just for how it looks, also on the inside as well. Nourish your body. Make sure you're getting enough vitamins and minerals. Don't just think about the proteins, fats and carbs. There's so much more to it. If you want any further information on this topic as well, again, feel free to message me over at Em.Powercoaching UK. More than happy to have a chat with you about it. But for now, I will leave you, and I look forward to seeing you next week, where we will have part 3 of the self-love episodes. So thank you for tuning in, guys. I will see you next week. Bye-bye.